What up, y'all? You see, it's your boy Double D Dice. About to get my first throws into the night, actually. Fridays I only work till 11. When we're working overtime, I usually work 4 or 10s, but we had to work an 8-hour on Friday today. Got a 6.39. And I'm just starting my practice. I went to the casino right after work, and as every Friday, it was packed, and there were no spots at the craps table. That looked like there's some people waiting. I gotta be up early tomorrow, so I didn't feel like waiting at all. 314, and I told you about bubble craps and how I don't fucking like it. So I stayed away from it and went and played some blackjack. I'm a pretty good blackjack player. I would say I'm better at craps for sure. Craps is my game. But I've played enough blackjack. I've played a lot of blackjack, actually. And I had a good night. We got a 549, cover our number. Hey, so that's a 549, covered the number. But yeah, I had a pretty good night. I won $90. I got up like 170 or 80 right off the bat, pretty much. I mean, I walked up, dealers in bust mode. As long as I didn't bust, I was pretty much winning every hand. And I played 2 hands most times. All right, we got a 617 on the come out. I didn't like that throw either. But yeah, I kind of play a progression when I play 2 hands. Start at $10 if I win the first, go to 15, win the second, third, go to 20. Each hand separate from each other. So if one hand wins, I move it to 15. If that wins, I move it to 20, and then I kind of stay at 20 until it loses. Which if you get on a streak, because I kind of play blackjack in a game of streaks, but I'm not going to get into any really anymore because this is my craps channel. And we got a 4-3-7, so back-to-back 7s on the come out. And since I'm just now throwing and I'm trying to dial it in, I see that I double pitched and they both went off X's in separate ways. Two throws in a row, so I'm going to change dice sets to my 56-32, which is what I like to use most times on this dice set. But that's why you start with the hard way set, because you can kind of see what your dice are doing. And I like that kiss. We got a 4-1-5. Don't be afraid to change your dice set in the middle of your throw. If you're not liking what you're seeing, or you do what I just did right there, where I cover a number quick, but then the next few throws I just didn't like what I was seeing. They weren't bad throws necessarily, but the way the dice are moving for me right now, it's not what I want to see as far as numbers popping up. So that's why it's great to have multiple dice sets with each throw you have. We got a hard 4 because yeah, I mean, if you're smart enough with the dice and you see and you can instantly analyze what your dice are doing, which is easy on the hard way set, which I almost just put it in, then you can read and react basically. But yeah, so I played. Oh, that was horrible. I played blackjack. We got 4 deuce 6 because I didn't have the time to wait or patience, because 1, I gotta wake up early to play golf tomorrow, and 2, I wanted to get some practice in tonight throwing, because I'm also going to a baseball game tomorrow night. So I don't know how. I'll probably be exhausted when the day's over. 18 holes of golf and then sitting out in the sun for 3 hours. Well, the sun will go down probably another 2 hours before the sun goes down. And another 4 deuce 6 back to back. So yeah, I didn't know. And weekends are usually when I get a lot of practice in. So I didn't want to go tonight without practicing, and then if I'm too tired, or I mean, I'll practice at least a little bit tomorrow, but if I'm too tired to practice as much as I usually do, I didn't want to go 2 straight days without getting much practice in. So down here tonight, didn't feel like waiting at the casino. Went and got some blackjack in, came home with 90 extra bucks. So it was a good night, off the table. I'm sure you heard that little click. But yeah, so, I mean, anytime you can come home with more money than you left with, it's a successful night. If I would have just left right after the first shoe when I was up like 170 or 80, I would have had a real good night in just a half hour's time. But you know, I also thought maybe it's one of those nights. We got a hard 10 right off the bat. I mean, to get up 180 in 20 minutes or so, that's one of those nights where you start feeling yourself. You know what I mean? So I gave it another shoe, or most of it. I might have left right before it, but I was just slowly getting drained of all my profit. So I cut ties with half of what I originally made in profit, which was, I ended up leaving with 90 bucks. So 90 bucks for the good guys, 90 bucks extra. So you can't be mad about that. I'll pay for golf tomorrow, and that also, that's the joys of zoning in your throw. Like I said, it's my very first throw of the night, but I don't like hitting that wall twice already. There we go. That's much better. Ace deuce. So yeah, I mean, play golf for free tomorrow. Play golf for free and get a couple things at the old baseball game, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, so I mean, as you see, it seems to be, that was off again. Jesus Christ. That would have been our number too. Well, theoretically. It popped up on our number, but it wouldn't even mattered because one would have been off the table. Alright, so I got to zone in. I'm going to stop talking for a second while I throw. Alright, so like you see, I'm no pro at this, but I've practiced a couple months and I know what I'm doing. For the most part, is I'm releasing too late and I'm getting way too much arc. Like I said in the video last night, it's more of a line drive throw. I need to release it a little earlier and kind of keep the hand forward instead of going up. So let's get it down. There we go. And we just have it down. But that was a much better feeling throw. Covered one number. 5, 6, 11. Alright. Little 11 throw on the first throw. But hey, first throw of the night, I'll take 11. If you guys remember from last night, I said my SOR with this throw is about 10 to 12. I'm going to start off with the hard way set again, see if I can get it zoned back in. There we go. That felt good. 6-3-9, which is the same thing I came out with on my first throw of the night. But yeah, if you remember, I said my SOR with this throw is about 10 to 12 right now, so to throw that on the first throw of the night, I can't be mad about it, no doubt. I mean, I had a couple go off the table, so that's not ideal, but that's why you always throw a little bit before you throw dice anyways. 6 deuce 8. I like that kiss on it too. I don't mind it kissing on this type of throw. This straight inline throw. I don't mind a little smoochy smooch. As long as it's right when it lands. If it kisses off the wall, then God knows what could happen. So too. You got a yo. And that one actually didn't kiss the wall. You'd hear the little click. It got right up at the top of it though. Got right up at the top of it. So back in the hardway set, I like what it's doing right now. 5-1-6. But yeah, how about them Warriors getting that ass beat? Here's the thing. Anytime the Warriors get blown out, they come back and just absolutely embarrass the other team. I honestly expect them to win the next 2 games pretty handedly. 5-game series. Fuck. That was off the table. It would have been an ace to deuce. But threw that one short. But yeah, I mean, you guys see how bouncy this table is too, which is why I like to practice on it, because anything less bouncy is just going to get easier. I'll just land them a little further once I get it zoned in. And we got a 5-4-9. There we go. There's our number. Covered the 9 both times so far. But yeah, and then the Sixers getting beat the other night. But here's the thing: Celtics haven't won or haven't lost at home yet, and they haven't won one on the road yet in the playoffs. So we'll see when the young team gets back in Philly what actually happens. Coming out 6-3-9 again. I like those 9s, baby. I'll get paid 3-2 odds all day. And actually, I do throw a lot of 9s, a lot of 8s and 9s with this throw when I use the hardway set, because, and know your dice, people. That's what I also got to say. I keep 2 dice in my car at all times. So when I'm bored at a light or something, I'll just flip them around, just see all different combinations, and find out new dice sets or whatever. But it's good to know what you're doing, because now this is why when I'm throwing well, this is why I get a lot of 9s. You get that 5-5, 54-54, boom. Or we get that 6-3. So 9's going to come up a lot. Or that 6-2. You know what I mean? Or we can get that 5-1 action. But that's why it's also crucial to not just have dice sets you like, but know what happens when when you get a number. You should know the exact rotation of each dice and why you got that number. And just by going and taking a dice and flipping it around and looking at it, that's going to be able to help you. We got a 5-3-8. That's going to let you automatically know what happens. Like right now, I already know. One of the 5 stayed up top, the 3 came back 1. Boom. So, I mean, the hardway set, I can't really say too much because it's easy. I mean, that's why I recommend always using the hardway set to warm up, because you really don't have to do much thinking. You just know what happened. But we got a yo. See, that 5's staying up a lot now. I'm starting to get that thing zoned in. And once this throw gets zoned in, it can be lethal. But yeah, I mean, when I use my other set, which you saw a minute ago, the 56-32, that's another one I really like with this throw. I don't like it with every throw, but cater each dice set to each throw. Don't just have all these stock dice sets, and don't have all these stock dice sets that you use for every throw, unless it just happens to work, but that's usually not the case. I do recommend the hardway set for pretty much any throw, though, at least when you're warming up or trying to find dice sets, and practice just the hardway set for a while until you start getting you spot the trends and what the dice are doing, and then you formulate your own dice set based on that. You know what I mean? If you're getting a lot of 5-2s, then you can just change, like 5-2s, which would mean it's double pitching. You can change to the 54-35, because then if you double pitch, boom, boom, you got a 9. You know what I mean? So you can make, if you want, you can make all your dice sets off of the hard way set and just move it around based on what you see. Or you can go completely different as long as you know what it does, and that was off the table. But you can go completely different as long as you know what it does. You know what I mean? Like I used the 5632 a lot, which 5632, the reason I like that is because the outside numbers 3, 4, and 6, 1. So if they're both going off axis, I'd never 7 out. But this is for when I am double pitching, because if I just single pitch, or whatever you want to call it, one rotation over, I'll get the 5, 7 or the 4, 3. The 5, 7, 5, 2, 7. Jesus Christ. Either way. So that's for when I'm double pitching, or not pitching at all, really. But if I'm getting that one pitch, I don't use that dice set. I use the hard way set. So, and I like the 5632 actually for a couple rolls, or a couple different rolls I have. Got an ace 3, 1. There's one other roll out about the 5 or 6 I use, where I'll use the 5632 also. And it's my, what grip do I use it with? The unit, maybe? Yeah, I use it with the unit grip when I throw it in the hook. Sorry, I had to look at my paper. I got all this shit written down of all these different dice sets that I like for different throws. 4, deuce, 6. But yeah, it's good to keep like I'm not gonna sit here and show you it all, but throws, grips, throws, grips, throws, grips, throws, grips. Dice sets, like, and I have different dice sets based on different dice, which you're probably gonna find stupid. But I was watching a bone thrower video, and he said different dice weigh different amounts. And while they do feel like it, like these feel heavier than these, I've weighed the dice out. They're all 19 grams. But I do think that like these and other ones, like these blue ones, the darker they are, the more like dense I want to say they are. Because these like more transparent ones, one, they click louder. You know what I mean? Which that probably doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. But I think they're more dense. The darker they are, the more dense. Like the lighter ones bounce a lot more, and you actually do get different numbers more often. So, believe it or not, that's just one more wrinkle you got to watch out for. We got a 6, deuce, 8. And a lot of you probably won't believe that, but when you practice every single day and put in at minimum of 10 hours a week, you notice subtle differences like that. And I noticed that I have to use different dice sets when I use those light purple or when I use these yellow ones. I think the yellow ones are pretty cool, but when you throw them, it's so hard to see the number from far away. I gotta sit there and pull them all the way back almost before I see what number's on the dice. They're almost so bright and like transparent that we got another 4, deuce, 6. No hard ways yet on this throw. I think I hit 2 or 3 hard ways on the last throw. I haven't hit a 5 yet either, but the 6, 8, 9s, like I said, those are the numbers I've really hit right now. I hit pretty often with this set. That felt bad. Didn't hurt us. 4, 6, 10. 10 easy. 10 easy. That was one of those where it started slipping as I threw it, and I just landed it short, let go of it. Once it starts slipping, you're fucked. It's just like a golf shot. If you can't stop it, which if you try to stop it, you'll probably slide them out of your hand. But it's like a bad golf shot. When you're in your backswing and you just feel something wrong, but you can't stop it. That's what happened there. That's off the table. I knew that too. That would have been a 6 easy. I knew the second I released it way too late, and it got that super arc on it, which this throw does not take away the bounce when you get that arc. That's why you got to keep it lower. I felt decent. 4, 6, 10, 10 easy. 10 easy. But I don't know what the count is on this one, but I'd say we're overperforming a little bit. It's definitely past 10 to 12. But I got it locked in right now. What do we got? 5, 1, 6, 6 easy. No field. I can't believe back when I started playing dice that I mean, I can't believe it, because anytime you start, I just saw how many numbers were on the field, and I just went field after field after field. I mean, there would be days I'd get paid on it, but I mean, the field hits 47% of the time, so for a while I thought the field was the best bet in the game. 5, 1, 6, 6 easy. And I've seen a lot of people fall victim to that as well. Don't get me wrong, it's actually kind of fun and a little thrilling just to ride the field, because it's real streaky. It's kind of fun to ride out those streaks, but it's not fun whatsoever to ride out those streaks where it's tons of 5s, 6s, and 8s. So, and then I learned more about it, and there's our number, 549. Alright, well, we've covered that 9 twice. 2 times this throw, and once last throw. So in 2 throws, oh shit, I didn't show you. In 2 throws, we've covered the 9 twice, or 3 times, I mean. So if that doesn't tell you a little bit, like I said, I'm not bone thrower dangerous arm, but I've been banging that 6, 8, 9 non-stop. And we got another 6, 4 deuce 6, number 6. 6 easy. Not only that, but they've been coming up. Numbers have been coming up in the same way a lot. Like, I guess with the 6, I haven't hit a hard 6 or 8 yet, but I've hit a good amount of both numbers, which shows that boom, 5, 1, 6, baby, let's go. That 6 stack is getting ridiculous right there. 6 easy. Oh, fuck me. I hope the camera caught it. I just knocked it over. 5, 1, 6. I knocked it to a 5, 4. Alright. But yeah, so I mean, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite throw right now. But it's probably just because it's the throw I've been doing the best with the last few days. But what also happens, and you'll notice when you throw a lot, and you get a few different throws, you'll go through a couple day spurts where one's on fire, and a couple of them you're not doing as well as you normally do. So you're like, do I throw it out? No, you don't throw it out unless you just keep having result after result after result of days and days and maybe a week. Because if a throw feels comfortable and you release it right and you're throwing it right, it's going to come back around. But you have those like couple days streaks where one's not working, but 2 others might be, or one's just on fire, and none of your other ones are doing what they usually do. And we got another 5, 4, 9 people. If this doesn't say something, then I don't know what does. But for people that don't believe, they're never going to. And that is what it is. I mean, we need that. We need a lot of people not to believe in it, because that's what keeps us able to do it. if everyone did it and got good at it, they'd have to they'd either shut craps down or they'd come up with another thing to thwart us and make it harder. We got a 314, make it harder to control these bones. So we need a good amount of skepticism. Not only that, but I watched a video. It was from a not craps convention, a casino convention. Granted, it's from 2008, but it was this guy doing a speech, doing a PowerPoint, talking to all these different casino bosses and managers from around the U.S. about. They were talking about everything, but they started talking about the craps and dice control, and they believe that there's only 4 or 5 people in the world that can control them enough to put them in danger at all. Off the table, shit. But yeah, 4 or 5 people that could do any harm, that could endanger the casino, I guess. So, because you've heard the stories about people getting real good and they just show up day after day and kill them and they'll get banned. But if the guy doing the PowerPoint really only thinks that 8 people in the world, or 4 or 5 people in the world can do it, then that's great news for us. And they're probably thinking like the dominators and stuff. All we got to do is get to like an average of 8 to 10 and formulate a strategy on that. I mean, my goal right now, I'm at 10 to 12 on this throw, is to get it up to about 15-ish, in the 15 area. And if I can like 15 to 18, if I get it triple the average, come on now, I'll kill him. 516 again, folks. How many 516s is that? I know I've got some 4-2s also, but I haven't got any hard ways on this throw. Not a single one. I think my 6s, I think I've got 6 or 7 6s, judging based on, maybe 7 or 8 6s, based on the looks of that stack on the 6 right there. Let's hit that 9 again. That 9's been very friendly. Uh-oh, that slipped. Didn't hurt us though, 538. Also, you also hear me talking a lot when I throw about, oh, that sucked or that was good. Like, you have to be extremely critical of yourself. Like, you're your own hardest critic. That didn't even do that much, but I felt it turn just a fraction of an inch as I was throwing it. Like, it just slid a little bit. And if you want repeatable results all the time, you got to have everything on point, just like a golf shot, which I think is why golf. One, if you have the patience to get good at golf, which I'm pretty good. I have like a 6 or 7 handicap. If you have the patience to get good at golf, then you have the patience to get good at dice, for sure. 1 and 2. If you're pretty good at golf, or if you've got good at golf over the years, you know how every little minuscule factor can make or break a shot. And once you're good enough at golf, you know your swing. Like, you can feel, not every single time, but I'd say 9 times out of 10, I could hit a ball and not even look up and at least tell you if it's left, right, or straight. I can't tell you if it's perfect, like dead straight, but I can tell you for sure when I fuck up. Like, if I hit it right or left, I don't even have to look up. Just like I call it out in the air half the time where I said, oh, I don't like that, I'll say left or right after I make contact. Like, that's the type of concentration and focus and knowing your swing or knowing your mechanics, your throw, that it takes to make progress, I feel like. And I've only been doing this a couple months, but I've been playing golf for 20 years, and I'm only 25. We got a 314. Also, I believe in, like, basketball. Oh, I knocked it over to ace deuce. Basketball is another thing that I played for not quite 20 years, but about 17. And that's another thing. Like, if you're good at basketball, you can be good at this. I played baseball over my life. If you're pitching, like, You know what I mean? Your pitching mechanics, anything in life that you had to just repeatedly do the same motion over and over. Anything, and when you mess something up, you notice every little minuscule thing. Any like just repeatable motion you've had to do, which I feel like is why sports. It teaches patience and discipline, which this takes a lot, and two, it teaches muscle memory and practicing and repetition, and that's what you need to get good at this, people. And I'm actually way outperforming my SOR right now. I don't know what I'm at. We got 6-4-10. But this is one of my better rolls. I hope, let me see what time we're at. 30 minutes. Shit, I only got 3 minutes left, so I need to stop talking and get to throwing. My phone only goes 33 minutes, and I know if it cuts off, people are going to be bitching and not believing me. 3-1-4 if I keep rolling. Every single 4 I've had has been 3-1 also. I forgot about the damn time restraint. I wouldn't have been standing there talking as much as I did. I'm about to get a little rapid fire for y'all real quick. That's short. 4-1-5. First 5 yet. I haven't hit any of those horn numbers either, except for 2 yos. But usually I kind of hit a small or tall, or get close to it at least. 3-1-4. Come on now. If this isn't telling me something. If I run out of video, I'm not even going to do a part 2. Unless it just automatically keeps recording to part 2. Then I'll just keep going. But if it just cuts off, I'll just cut it off where it's at. 5-1-6 again. Not only am I getting repeating numbers, I'm getting the same exact combination of them. And that's what tells you you're doing something right. Your throw's feeling good. I really got it locked in right now. For the most part. I know I'll say like short and shit a lot, but 4-1-5. But when I'm saying that, it's probably missing the spot I'm looking at by 1 to 2 like inches, or sometimes a little more, but a lot of times it's not missing by much, but I want it in that exact spot. And there it is. So, alright, made it through the video. 7 out. Shit, I gotta count these real quick. I got 15 seconds. 5, 1, 2, 3, that's 5. We had 9 6s. There's 15 throws, 20, 25, 5 9s, 30 on the dot. 30 throws, people.